The PlayStation Portable, also known as the PSP, was a pretty neat little handheld. I had one as a kid actually, and I sold it not too long after buying it. It was because of one game. Yeah, I fucking hate this game. Listen, I'm a big Ratchet Clank fan, especially when I was a kid, and I had played every single one that came out past Deadlocked on the PlayStation 2. So when I saw Size Matters in the local game store, but only on the PSP, I had to get one. This was before the PlayStation 2 version. I'm pretty sure it was either that or I was a fucking stupid kid that did absolutely zero research. Honestly, it probably was that one. I wasn't the brightest. One thing I wasn't aware of before playing the game was the fact it wasn't developed by the original developers, Insomniac Games. No. Instead, it was developed by High Impact Games, who are famously known for... let me see here. Disney Princess My Fairy Tale Adventure. Yeah, they went out of business. They made Ratchet Clank Size Matters, and it just wasn't very good. Okay, I want to start the video off with a positive though. I think High Impact Games did a good job with Size Matters visually. The game was developed for a handheld that came out in 2005, and I can tell they tried to mimic the PlayStation 2 game style with the limited hardware, and I think they did a pretty good job. I also like how Ratchet is wearing the same shit he was wearing in the original game, which means he's half naked.
Good grief, he's naked!
That's where the positives abruptly end. Let's talk about why I do not like Ratchet Clank Size Matters. Okay, so the game begins on Pokitaru, that one resort planet from the original, you know, the better game. We see Ratchet and Clank chilling out right after being forced to compete to fight to the death for the entertainment of millions in an illegal sport. I guess they skipped out on the Ratchet Therapy spin-off. Ratchet is just chilling out, talking about how he's completely done with all that hero shit, which just isn't something he would say. Some little twat called Luna appears out of nowhere and asks Ratchet to do hero stuff so she can take pictures for a newspaper or something. That hero stuff being murdering the locals of Pokitaru. I'm not even joking. The game starts with fucking mass genocide. Oh, also Quark is here. I actually don't know why he's even in this game, and I don't think the developers knew why they put him here too, because his story in this is fucking dreadful. The big chin twat is looking for his parents, despite never mentioning anything about any parents in the previous 4 games. What's the point? Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, so the first level takes place on Pokitaru, and Size Matters plays like your standard Ratchet & Clank game, except this time you can't see shit, because the field of view feels like it's literally shoved up Ratchet's ass. Honestly, Pokitaru is just pretty standard. It's a decent starting level teaching the player how to play the game. Oh, actually that reminds me of a certain mechanic that is unique to Size Matters. You can collect different pieces of armor, and you can mix and match them to get certain effects on like your wrench and shit. It's actually pretty cool. It kinda becomes useless though when the early armor has like zero fucking defense, so there's actually no point in mixing and matching them to begin with. Listen lads, I tried giving you credit, but you aren't helping me here. If you're familiar with the Ratchet & Clank series, you know that there are usually a wide range of awesome planets for the player to explore. There aren't really any good ones in this game. Okay, to be fair, some of these levels have really cool ideas. Hell, I could even say that they are extremely unique ideas for a Ratchet & Clank game, but they all fall flat. Like the Dream level, a cool idea in concept, but fucking hell, I hate this level so much. You have to fight these goddamn chainsaw quarks, which are spongy as fuck, and to make matters worse, you have this shit all around the screen, so not only do you have an extremely awful FOV, but you got this shit. It's so fucking bad, man. Fucking hell. Another planet is the Technomite City. I just want to say that Technomites are a thing I'll be talking about later, but to summarize, they're these really small fellas, and on this planet, you have to shrink your ass down to get into their city. It's a cool idea, and I like these little details, like the planets being absolutely fucking huge, but goddamn, it's such a shit level. To make matters worse, it has this shitty ass boss fight right at the end, which can actually go fuck itself. It's not even the worst fight in the game, it gets fucking worse surprisingly. There's also another section where you go inside Clank. Again, cool concept, but it's just quite frankly a shit level. I don't know what else I can say. One of the things that make these levels an absolute drag are the weapons. Yep, that's fucking right. One of the biggest staples of the entire Ratchet & Clank franchise are absolutely god-awful in Size Matters. It's not because they aren't creative and wacky, no, some of these weapons are cool. What the issue is the fact they all hit the enemies like a fucking wet tissue, even when they are fully upgraded. There isn't a single good weapon in this game. At least I can't think of any. This could have been made better just from changing like a line of code to make enemies have less health, or make the weapons do more damage for fuck's sake. Such a small fix could have made the gameplay actually decent. Now, what couldn't have been fixed is the story. Actually, before that, I just want to mention this game has 3 different forms of Clank sections. They're all absolutely fucking horrendous. I cannot think of anything worse than these sections. Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, the story. Fuck the story. Now, I don't know anyone who actually plays the Ratchet & Clank games for their stories. They're usually pretty basic, but they definitely do have their moments, especially in the original game. Now, if you haven't played that game, or you haven't seen my big-ass video, which you should all check out after this video, by the way, I put a lot of effort into that. I talk about how Ratchet was a massive dickhead in the original, and how it actually felt justified, as he did develop as a character and became less of an arsehole later down the line. In the future titles after the original, you can see Ratchet's development. He becomes a selfless hero, and it felt earned. Well, in Size Matters, he's an absolute twat again, especially to Clank. So of course I mentioned earlier how he just wants to relax at the start of the game and doesn't want to help anyone because he can't be arsed or some shit, whatever. Well, later in that level, the little girl gets kidnapped and they find an artifact, and Clank identifies it as a Technomite artifact, which is supposedly a myth or some shit, and Ratchet just tells Clank they don't exist and basically makes him out to be a fucking idiot. This happens multiple times until guess fucking what? The Technomites are real. Does Ratchet acknowledge that he was wrong and apologizes to Clank for being a massive dickhead cunt? Does he fuck? He doesn't even bring it up again. Enough about Ratchet and Clank though. You've probably noticed I haven't even talked about the main villain once yet. Well, that's because the game doesn't acknowledge his existence until like you're basically at the end of the game. I'm not even fucking joking. He's called Otto, and I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what his master plan is. I think he just wants to be the smartest man in the universe or something. I don't know, man. He probably uses Reddit. Well, he manages to get a sample of Ratchet's DNA at one point in the game and makes clones of him, which is what the enemies are in the final level of the game. It really is as dumb as it sounds. I'm not making this shit up. This final level is absurdly tedious too. Bullet spongy enemies and terrible checkpoints. The usual shite you'd expect from this game. But then there's Otto himself, the final boss. Don't get me started on this fucking boss fight. He can kill you in like 2 shots. I had to fucking grind to level up some of my weapons. I had to fucking grind in a Ratchet and Clank game. Right? That's fucking it. This is exactly why I fucking sold my PSP, because of this stupid ass game. The PS Vita was better anyway. At least that can play the good Ratchet and Clank games. Listen man, I really don't like Size Matters, but I said earlier in the video, Size Matters was made for a handheld that came out in 2005. It's obviously gonna have a lot of issues and be nowhere near as good as the original games on the much stronger PlayStation 2. But fuck me, that does not excuse a lot of the design issues and story issues the game is riddled with. I'm never playing this game again. Fuck you, Retro Den, for making me play this.